Hey everybody, this is Madhav here from the Remote Marketing Podcast. Today I'm speaking to Michael Gutman, who was the former VP of Marketing at Flexjobs. Really good fit, just because Flexjobs is actually a remote jobs platform, primarily a remote jobs platform, and Michael is also a remote work consultant today. So but we are specifically here to chat about Flexjobs, popular affiliate program, how they grew it to where it is today, their general strategy and best practices, that work for them. Excited to have you on the show, Michael. How's it going?
Excited to be here and happy to give some knowledge. And what I've told Madhav before was we will go over some of the generalities. While I can't get into specifics, I will absolutely add some value to whatever affiliate marketing program that you're trying to scale at your organization.
Awesome. Okay, so let's kind of start out with talk me through your early days at Flexjobs. How did you end up there and kind of like the early seeds of what is now the Flexjobs, affiliate program, and like what was your initial thinking behind setting it up?
So, great question. I come from a tech startup that was founded in San Francisco that was trying to solve the problem of connectivity in a remote work environment. The organization was called Squiggle and essentially was on demand video chats between people, like a Slack, but mostly for video. So you could one click in and have a video conversation. And while I ended up leaving that organization to pursue kind of a deeper career roots into a remote and flexible work company. And through that previous job at Squiggle, I had developed a relationship, an affiliate relationship with Flexjobs. And it worked out that I would join their team as the director of marketing. And I actually inherited their affiliate marketing program. So while I had experience setting up affiliate marketing programs and running them from scratch, this is one that was already established. And so I had to take a look at what was going on and figure out where we were as a starting point.
Got it. Got it. And then, so let's talk about, and whatever, in 2015 or 2014 is when you joined Flexjobs, right? Um, so you came in, you were given an affiliate program that was already set up. Where's the state of the affiliate program when you kind of took it over? What were your initial first 6 months goals in terms of kind of taking it from where it was to where you wanted it to be?
Sure, good question. So I think when you first come in and assess any affiliate program, it's you look for quality because there are so many independent bloggers or small sites out there that might not have a reputable brand. And when you have got partners who are then, promoting you in a sense, they are your outside sales reps driving traffic to your site. You're incentivizing them to do that. You've got to figure out if those are people that you want being a part of your brand and if they align with your brand values. So I think that is the first piece that, performing an audit is an important function and this happens constantly. You don't just do this once. You do this consistently over the life of your affiliate program. You're looking at your partners, and these are people that you want those shared values with. So some, you have to have a conversation about your branding guidelines and how you want to be represented. And that's a conversation. If they're willing to uphold those guidelines, then it's a great relationship. If not, then it becomes more of a relationship management type of, type of task where you want to get people back on track with how you want to be represented. But sometimes you have to cut people loose. And I think that was an initial piece of what I went in when looking at Flexjobs affiliate program is, taking a look at some affiliates that didn't quite fit. So
Mm-hmm.
once you've got a lean portfolio of partners who are then promoting you in the way that you want to be promoted, that's the place to build off.
Got it. A counter question to this is that I've seen flex jobs, on whatever, on these SEO tools and everything. Ahrefs gets a lot of search traffic, right? So why the confidence in investing more on the affiliate side when SEO is working so well for you?
Well, if I back up to wear my kind of full stack marketing hat, general marketing hat, when somebody types in a search query into Google, while you certainly want yourself to show up, you want other third parties to show up who are also your advocates. And if
Mhm.
you can increase the number of doorways that show up for a specific search term that all lead to you, that's valuable. And so while you might get 20 to 30% of the traffic by ranking for a specific search term, if the other, five people of that, search query of those search results are also promoting you, you can capture a lot more of that traffic, and that's worth paying for, incentivizing people to help, not just compete with you, but supplement the brand that you're trying to embody.
Got it. Yeah, I 100% agree on that. So, realistically, taking that into consideration, right? Like, I mean, that's the way you put it, kind of fits it perfectly, right? Like right now, if someone searches for, I mean, like if there's a brand that doesn't have an affiliate program, someone searches for their brand on search, sometimes it'd just be their site. But then if you've got a lot of affiliates, it'd be like your brand review and then multiple blogs, or even something like a generic search term that you're kind of ranking for. But how do you facilitate that? Like, how do you make sure that all of these people that are kind of searching for these, like for example, um, let's kind of take a couple of steps back and try to understand that in terms of affiliates, right? Would you spend a lot of time recruiting them proactively, like reaching out to affiliates on your own? Or were you, whoever signs up, just kind of onboard them and make them successful as much as they can? Or a combination of two? And where were more efforts lean towards?
Yeah, I think here is an appropriate place to get into specifics, which is we did experiment with having an affiliate link at the bottom of our footer on our site for affiliates to self select themselves and sign up. And we would take a reactive approach and try to filter them. That ended up in a lot of spam, actually. And I think what we did was we added a filter to that affiliate link that helped to really opt out a lot of affiliates that weren't a good fit. So things that, like any good affiliate manager would do, they'd look at their social presence, they'd look at the number of visitors that they might have on their site, they look at their brand integrity. And so if all of those things align, and you have to figure out what aligns with your brand, if you can filter them out somehow when they're coming to you, and fill out some sort of form that you can make sure that you're making good use of your time when speaking to them, those are affiliates that you might want to talk to. We also took a proactive approach because we know who essentially we are competing with, right? Anytime you have a search result that comes up and you find other people in the same result that are not your advocates and not your affiliates, those are prime people to reach out to as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Um, let's especially talk about the. I mean, we'll talk about both these aspects, but let's talk about the first set, right? People kind of signing up from your footer and then obviously clicking the link, and then you saw a lot of spam. And by spam, I'm assuming people, from coupon sites and all of those different things, right? So, and I think in general, what we've seen is that top 20% affiliates kind of bring in 80% of the revenue, right? Um,
Yes.
Now, the $1 million question here is that if you're to kind of reach out to potential top affiliates, let's say somebody with 500,000 subscribers on their YouTube channel, they'd be getting a lot of requests from lots of different tools. So it's really hard to kind of get their attention. But there also might be people who are really small right now that might be joining your affiliate program and may eventually, become bigger in 3 years. And, they're interested to recruit you right now, right? And so where's the balance here? Like, which did you focus on all affiliates? Were you focused towards a certain segment of affiliates? Where's your approach like when kind of recruiting affiliates as such, be it inbound or outbound?
Good question. And I think it comes back to understanding who our persona groups are and what type of messages resonate with them. And we know that the best. And if you're at your company, you know your customers better than anyone else does. But when you can find people that align and have the same voice that you want to have, and the same conversation that you want to have with each of those personas, those are people worth investing in. And so you might have 3, 5, 7, 10, maybe at the max personas at your organization. Understanding the conversations that you want to have, that maybe your brand isn't appropriate in having, right? Sometimes you can't take that friend approach. That has to be third party. So who are those third parties that you want to have that trusting conversation with your brand that you can't have? Those are people that are worth investing in. And then once you get those, smaller, revenue generating affiliate partners, those are the ones that you switch your hat from somebody who's trying to attract positive revenue generating affiliates to somebody who's coaching them.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that if you can wear that coaching hat and help to, use your marketing skills on the marketing team to coach other people to be better marketers for your brand, there's lots of wins happening at the same time there. And you also get to watch your affiliate program grow.
Got it. So can you give me some examples on like how do you kind of you put it pretty nicely, right? Like becoming a coach to make your affiliates become better marketers for your brand, right? So how do you facilitate that?
Well, I think about, honestly, in the terms of mentorship, in the sense that if you're a marketing leader, you have a lot of inherent knowledge about what it means to create a marketing engine. And oftentimes you're working with solopreneurs who are just have a website that happens to be performing well in a niche that overlaps with yours. And so you might inherently have a lot more marketing knowledge than this other person who's trying to launch their business. But again, resonates very well with your
Sorry,
questions.
Michael, 1 second. Could you repeat the last 30 seconds? I think I lost you in the last 30 seconds.
Yeah, help me where I was. Where did you
Yeah.
lose me?
So you were saying you were talking about solopreneurs and kind of
Sure.
probably not
Yeah.
as good. Yeah. So just start from there, and then I can cut this part out later on. Don't worry about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So a lot of your partners might be solopreneurs or very small enterprises that don't have a lot of inherent marketing knowledge under their belts. And if you're leading a marketing team and trying to grow your affiliate program, being able to disseminate some of your marketing best practices is going to help them grow as a business and also help them to build trust with you and promote their brand. So I think acting as a coach and a leader in that sense is helpful, where you become ultimately their affiliate consultant and how to best promote you. And through that trust, you also get to leak, specials and campaigns that you want them to be able to promote on your behalf. You might be running a special with 30% off and you want them to be able to promote that deal. You might have some content that's coming out that you think is going to be high value content and you want their help to help disseminate that and distribute that. Those are things that you can do to build trust and ultimately grow the distribution of your affiliates.
Got it. Okay. So then, is this what you're talking about? This coaching, is it more like a like a really intensive investment where you're really working one on one with each affiliate that you feel is worth kind of investing in, or is it more like one to many communication? Kind of like through an email or through like a learning hub or something like that.
I think you mentioned at the beginning where you said worth investing in. And I think with that 80-20 rule, where 20% are creating 80% of the value and revenue for your organization, you want to build strong relationships with those people who are creating the most value. So that's where you focus your efforts. To the other part of your comment, absolutely creating resources and how affiliates can be successful that you can automate and distribute on an ongoing basis, whether it's a monthly newsletter or you've got an onboarding campaign where you're sending them emails to be successful with your program. Either way, I think it's important to check in with your affiliates and make sure that you're spending time with the ones who are worth it, but you're giving resources to the people who you think can benefit from growing and that you think have potential.
Got it. And kind of related to this, right? you mentioned obviously, coaching and mentoring and kind of making them more successful, right? So that kind of comes to something similar, which is basically, what is your like, what do you think are some of the best practices when it comes to improving the performance of your existing affiliates? Let's say you've got 500 affiliates that signed up through that affiliate form that you have set up, and then they've signed up. Some of them are getting more customers, some of them are getting less customers, but you don't know the full potential or how much room for growth there is. Maybe if they kind of recommend you as their number one product, you might see a jump in revenue maybe by 10 times, right? So if someone has a set of affiliates that are already there, what can you do to kind of improve their performance? Obviously, like you said earlier, you can focus on those top 20%, and individually spend time with them to kind of cater to their individual campaigns. But is that it, or is there more to it?
So I think there's a few different layers here for your question. Um, it's easy if you have an affiliate program that's already off the ground. But if you don't have one that's off the ground yet, then you have to ask yourself, how do I coach from not knowing what success looks like? I don't have a successful affiliate. I'm trying to launch this thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I think you start with what you know works with your own organization, and that's the knowledge that you transfer.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a program that is already working, then you have a feedback loop where your most successful affiliates are doing something right. And you can share that information, and you can actually invite them to share that information with other affiliates. It's the sense that a rising tide rises or raises all ships. If more people know about the brand, it's just going to bring more people to those search results to increase the revenues for all of those affiliates together. So if you can create some sort of knowledge share from the people who are really successful for the people who are just emerging in your program, then I think you can start to have some sort of consistent communication of what best practices are.
That's a fantastic point. I love that. So especially for this, like, at least in your Flexjobs days, was there a way that you communicated these things? Was this kind of like part of like a, I don't know, PDF document that you kind of just shared with your affiliates, or anyone who signs up for an affiliate, say that these are the, tactics that our top 20% affiliates use, and we recommend you to use those?
So I think what you're asking for is specifics. And here's about as specific as I'm willing to get. Regardless of the format of the content,
Mm-hmm.
what you want to be able to do is make sure that they have a great affiliate onboarding experience.
Mm-hmm.
They're aligned with the brand. As soon as they sign up, they feel the warmth and the embrace of you are there to support them and you want to watch them succeed. And along the way, you want to give them feedback. Like any employee or contractor or sales rep, they want feedback and they want to be able to feel that love. They want to be able to feel that connection. And all these people behind these organizations, behind these blog posts, behind these affiliate links are humans.
Mm-hmm.
And connecting with those humans, you will get to understand what motivates each and every one of them. And if
Mm-hmm.
you can tap into that, just like anything else with marketing, you can help motivate people to promote you in the way that you want to be promoted. And you can make sure that they're essentially on call with any type of campaigns or offers that you have, because they inherently want to help promote you and watch you succeed, because you also want the same for them.
Yep. That makes sense. I definitely agree on that. Um, all right, so let's kind of now move to, so we've covered inbound. Now let's talk about outbound. Specifically, when we see I see this question a lot coming in, a lot from the listeners as well, is that they're like, we've set up the affiliate program and it has seen moderate success, but what happens is that when we try to scale it, our biggest challenge is growing qualified affiliates at scale. That is their biggest issue, right? um, did you ever face that, and how did you kind of tackle that?
Yeah. I come back to the personas, right? You go after all those people who are showing up on search terms that you think your personas are also searching for. and you feel like you've got a good database of all of the different potential partners, and then you have a reach out campaign that goes after each and every one of those, and you try to find the right person to contact, and you do a good job of having follow-ups to all those people, and then at that point you feel like, wow, my efforts are exhausted in my outreach, and I feel like I've done a good job of canvassing our entire landscape of search and of where we think we can meet people where they are. What do you do then? Right?
Hmm.
That becomes the very hard uh, realization that you feel like you've done everything you can.
Hmm.
And I think you work in parallel, because I think a lot of those potential partners that you might canvas and identify at the beginning, and you start to build your list to reach out to, are smaller partners. There's a lot of unique content that adds a lot of value that show up in the search results, again, that are smaller fish.
Hmm.
And I think identifying who those big fish are, where you might not have completely overlapping audiences, but there might be a subsect,
Hmm.
those are areas to invest in as well. And then try to have some sort of value exchange where you can build off of a relationship and grow from there.
Got
So,
it.
from an outbound strategy, I would recommend learning who all of the people who show up on those search terms that you're also trying to vie for. Who are all those people? Who's everybody in your space? Who overlaps with your persona groups that you're trying to market to? And also invest in building relationships with the larger partners. And I think doing those two things in parallel, you're going to set yourself up for finding something that's fruitful.
Got it. I agree on that. So, I mean, this is specifically, when we're talking about cold outreach. Now, in this, a sub question, like a follow up question to this is that, um, you know, how do you kind of acquire a popular affiliate blogger YouTuber with a big audience? Because usually what ends up happening is that like I said earlier, let's say someone like Pat Flynn, you reach out to them, you're like, hey, I've got an affiliate program, and maybe they've even heard of your product, but they'd be like, oh yes, absolutely, I'll consider you guys and maybe add you to a new course and everything, and then bam, that's where the conversation ends because they just forget about you. And so when you're kind of dealing with somebody with such a large audience, or someone that could potentially have a big impact on your affiliate revenue, how do you approach that? Like, how do you make sure that you for sure are able to recruit this person?
Honestly, I've not had success doing that.
Okay.
And I'm happy to talk about that. And it's because as marketers, when we have an infinite number of ways to try to grow the business, where do we want to invest our time and energy into? And so, while I've certainly canvassed people with lots of following and heard nothing back, or had initial conversations and they wanted money for it, these were not part of a strategy that I wanted to invest into in that time, because there were other places where I could find a better cost per acquisition. And
Hmm.
really, that's what it comes down to. And investing a lot of time in these people who have a big following and a big influence, who want to charge advertising dollars, um, I want to have more control over where I spend those dollars. I want to be the one to build the page, that's going to help with this funnel. There's more of a direct and immediate impact that I can associate with what my OKRs or KPIs are.
Hmm.
And I have tended to stray away from paying money to influencers to support my brand, because I think in the end, paying for that feels inauthentic anyway. Like, I
Hmm.
want people inherently to want to do that. And so when I've felt like there's been a barrier, I've strayed away.
That makes sense. Um, what's your opinion on affiliate networks? Yay or nay?
Depends. I've had success with and success and not had success. I'll use Commission Junction as an example,
Hmm.
where they feel very, very crowded, and they're going to take, whatever cut that they're going to take. And so they're further extending your margins. And if you can feel like you can reach an audience and have a conversation with somebody you wouldn't normally get a chance to have a conversation with, and they're on that network, give it a shot. It's not a huge cost to get signed up. depending on where your budget is. Everyone ranges from startup to medium to large business. But give it a shot if you feel like you can build a connection with somebody you want to build a connection with there.
Got it.
I think it's a decent location to build relationships with publishers who you might not know and who might have properties that you think would align with, again, your customer audience, your persona groups.
Mm-hmm.
But I've had mixed results, and I think they tend to, from my experience, they tend to lean towards the more kind of commodity products.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, where you're going to see somebody ordering flowers, that might be a great thing to leverage a Commission Junction or ClickBank or any of the other organizations out there.
Mm-hmm.
If you're leveraging something that's a little bit more obscure that the average consumer might not know about, I've had a mixed bag.
Yeah. Yeah, that definitely mirrors our experience as well. Do you feel that it matters what kind of a commission structure you have? Like, do you feel that, like one-time commission versus recurring, what do you feel works better? I know the answer to it in most cases will be it depends, because it depends on the industry, it depends on so many other factors. But what's your general experience that what kind of a commission do more affiliates kind of lean on, and what is the kind of commission that most companies should pursue to kind of have a commission structure they should pursue to kind of have a better chance at making an affiliate program successful?
Well, Madhav, that depends. I will say this. If I am an affiliate, I have a piece of real estate on my site, and I want to make the most amount of money possible while also adding value to my customers. And that will always be the case.
Mm-hmm.
So when I think about what type of structure, I look at what could that affiliate replace my offer with? And I try to beat that offer if I can, if it makes business sense for us. And so if we have an overlapping audience with a few different industries, let's call it remote work. If it could be Flexjobs offering access to premium remote job listings, if it could be a headset for, working in a coffee shop, back when pre-COVID, and hopefully sometime soon we get a vaccine.
Mm-hmm.
If it is offering a, remote work retreat, those are all things that might resonate with that same audience.
Mm-hmm.
So I look to what the different offers are currently out there, and I offer something that I hope will beat that and incentivize that person to fill that real estate with our brand. But ultimately, that's an evolving game. So you just have to constantly see what's happening in the marketplace. You go to your affiliates' websites, you see what they're posting, and you try to keep a pulse of what you need to do to stay relevant with your offer. And I think that's constantly a moving target.
Got it. And so it seems like, do you feel that kind of offering like the highest commission is probably one of the major ways to kind of get recommended more? That's really just the one thing that the affiliates probably look at when, like, if you're giving a higher commission than, let's say, FreshBooks or whatever, some other company, you'd probably be just taken up straight to the top. Do you feel that's the experience, or is there sometimes more to it than just the commission itself?
I mean, you have to have a quality product. Nobody's going to promote you if you're not adding value to their audience, right? They're trying to build their business and create relationship with their customers. If they're not positioning something that they think is going to align with what they're trying to do, they're not going to do it anyway, regardless of what your commission structure is. Mm-hmm. So I think adding value is number one to the customer that your affiliates represent, and then adding value to the affiliate. Because let's be honest, if you and I are talking with our friends and we see something that we value, we're going to recommend it regardless if we're getting paid or not, mm-hmm. because we actually think it's cool and we want our friends to experience what we also think is cool and good. So I think if you can use that as a compass, then you're going to set yourself up.
Got it. Yeah, that makes sense. All right. So like kind of reaching towards like our final, like final questions of our conversation. And it's been really, really insightful so far. Let's talk about your reflection from your days of scaling the affiliate program at Flexjobs and some of the other places. What if you could just list out your top three learnings when kind of scaling the program that maybe you just go back in the past and correct or do that then something else? What would those be?
So, clearing my throat here. Excuse me. Just gonna take a sip of water here.
Yeah.
Okay, so if I have three top takeaways, the first one would be know your tracking codes and make sure that you're from whatever affiliate software that you're using UTM codes to also track in another platform so that you can compare apples to apples, because everybody wants to take credit for the conversion. And if you're not super certain on what their attribution model looks like, you need to put it towards one that compares everything and essentially creates some sort of unification of what attribution models look like. That's number one, because I have been burned in the past by affiliates stripping down the code and not knowing that they're coming from a specific affiliate, and then recognizing that they're not driving quality traffic to the site.
Mm-hmm.
So that, I think, is an important one. I think another lesson is there are so many micro influencers out there today than I feel like in my profession ever were. So don't discount somebody because you've never heard of them. They might have a niche and nuanced audience that you've never heard of. So, take a look and dive a little deeper into what these, potential or pending affiliates look like as they get into your queue, because you might find some gems in there and overturn those stones.
Mm-hmm.
And the last thing that I will say as a learning experience is really, I think the best way to grow a program is work in parallel, while looking at the small people, looking at the big people, but while also investing in the people who are succeeding. I've seen a lot of gains happen from just helping to consult your top performers who can ultimately double what they're doing for you. And I think those are things that can be replicated from any marketing team looking to invest in affiliate marketing.
Got it. Fantastic takeaways here. If like just kind of relate to this in terms of when someone kind of starts scaling their affiliate program, what would be one or two KPIs that they absolutely should be kind of monitoring? Of course, there's the revenue from the affiliates and all of that, but is there something that you feel some companies miss out when they kind of start scaling their affiliate program in terms of a KPI?
When I look through potential affiliates, whether it be referrers in Google Analytics, whether it be I've launched a program and I've already accepted a few affiliates and I'm starting to monitor their success, anybody who's sending us traffic, I look at audience overlap. And the way I look at that is I look at conversion rate from referral traffic. Because if that conversion rate is high, you can tell that the audience is resonating with your message. There is good overlap and alignment.
Mm-hmm.
If it is really low, then maybe you've got to dig deeper and figure out, why is that low? But ultimately, it's an indicator from whatever they're coming from, not alignment. So I think
Mm-hmm.
looking at those things and figuring out what the conversion rate looks like and pairing that to where you have audience overlap and alignment is a good way for you to calibrate your compass.
Wow, that's a fantastic KPI. Yeah, I mean, it's a really really interesting way to understand which are the ones that are actually making sense for you as an affiliate program. So anyway, all right. So last question, right? So we're doing a series of episodes on affiliate marketing. Who do you think would be a great person to invite on the podcast next to talk about affiliate marketing?
Oh goodness. I honestly am drawing a blank right now. I wish I could tell you.
Got it. Yeah.
Who do you want to reach out to? Who are you inspired by right now?
I'm inspired by you, man. I reached out
Come
to you.
on. Don't put gravy on the gravy.
No, I mean there's obviously a lot of people, and there's no real like you. I'm basically just trying to understand, different companies and how they're kind of tackling affiliate programs. I basically just start with, let's say FreshBooks is very very famous in their affiliate program. So maybe talk to somebody, you kind of set that up there, or maybe somebody, like all that. So I don't have a name as such. I just know which affiliate program is successful and want to talk to the person who's behind that. So that's how I kind of see it.
Well, if you're looking to find another guest for affiliate marketing, I don't have anybody on the top of my head. And I mean, I'll be honest with you. So, okay, let me back up to my career. Have you heard of CJU?
Nope. Could you tell me who that person is?
No, well, CJU is not a person. It's CJ as in Commission Junction, and they have a university. And
Hmm.
this is an annual event they have, or at least they used to have, down in Santa Barbara, where they would connect advertisers, people who are representing brands and companies that have affiliate programs, with publishers those are affiliates that represent all these different types of markets. And they would have this big networking event down in Santa Barbara where they would match affiliates with publishers to try to grease the wheels and get this platform working in real time, face to
Hmm.
face relationships. And this was back in the day where I don't know if you remember, but there were these affiliate, link loops that websites would bring you through. It's all these spam websites
Oh
that would
yeah,
show
yeah.
an offer and then an offer and then an offer, and it would never end. And those are all affiliate links. And
Hmm.
so some of these publishers in the like scammy days of affiliate marketing would say, hey, yeah, I'll take your offer. I'll give it a whirl on my affiliate loop where I'll position it a million times in front of 100 people and see if it pays out. And
Hmm.
that's what they used to host. And I wonder now if they still host a Commission Junction University, what that looks like, what the caliber of affiliates look like, who the publishers are. Because again, it's all about relationship building. These are your salespeople. And I think, that's the only time I probably could have ever recommended, hey, you should talk to this affiliate marketer. Because I don't think, and maybe this is an avenue for you to explore, that affiliate marketers in different companies actually talk to each other about what's working, who the big publishers are, and how they can help grow their skill set. Maybe that's a gap for you to be able to have a business idea.
Yep. That's definitely a good recommendation. I'll definitely have a look on that. Um, but cool, awesome. What an amazing episode today. So to kind of wrap up, if listeners wanted to follow your work or contact you directly or indirectly, how can they do that? And what's next for you?
Yeah, good question. So I think the best way to connect with me is on LinkedIn. You can see a lot of the work in different companies that I've aligned myself with over the years. And currently, I'm working heavily in the remote workspace after this pandemic hit. My skill set was in high demand. And so many companies have reached out to figure out, let's take a look back over the last few, 6 months. How are things going? What's working? What isn't? How can we pivot and adjust and be the best company we can be in a remote environment? And I think what's next is helping organizations figure out what the future holds now that people have had a taste for what remote work and work flexibility looks like. You can't just take that away. And so once there's a vaccine and we all return to whatever normal means for us, uh, that normal means something different for the average worker. And so my aim is to help organizations navigate that space to make it equitable for people, and make it profitable for organizations, and ultimately have a net benefit on the environment and society at the same time.
That's amazing, man. I'll have to invite you again on the podcast to talk specifically about this. Such a great mission that you're on. It kind of really aligns with what we're doing here at Remote Marketing as well. So let's hope something works out in the coming days. But thanks so much for being on the show. Really appreciate you being here today.
Happy to be a guest. Thanks for having me.
All right, see ya.
All right, we did it.